Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I thought I'd take a look at a set this particular time that I actually haven't even opened since I purchased it years ago. It's sort of just been sitting back in the closet, and I thought I'd take a look at it now and share it with you guys. This is the Transformers Headmasters gift set. Now, the Headmaster series was an anime television show that aired in Japan from July 1987 to March 1988. Now, the beauty of this set is a lot of the figures in here, if you were to buy them, if you were to buy their original G1 versions, original molds, they are quite expensive. And for me, it was never really a set of figures that I thought I'd be interested in. Just never really been much of a Headmaster person myself, but I thought that because all 10 of these came in a gift set like this, it would be worth the money. Again, I don't think I paid that much for it back when it came out initially, so for me it was a pretty good deal. The thing with when KOs come out, and this is a knockoff set, well, the quality is very good. It can lower the value of the G1s. Not significantly, but to a point where it can be frustrating for certain collectors. But for someone who never thought they could afford one or was really interested in spending the money to get it, this is a perfect set. So without further ado, let's get into actually showing you what the set is about. First off, you can see the nice artwork on the front, showing all 10 figures, as well as their various names. It's almost like a very sort of a retro style G1 box with the flap lid. And if I remember correctly, from what I've seen online, I don't think that the original figures had as nice artwork as what we're seeing on this box here. Opening up the flap, you can see on the inside they've got all 10 figures nicely displayed, as well as a bit of like a little character bio here. Some nice black and white artwork. If you look in the upper right corner here, you can see the Autobot Headmasters names and Headmaster companion figures, meaning that you know, Duros is attached with Hardhead, Gort's got Highbrow, etc., etc. You can see up here in this corner here, it's got the C114 designation, and that was Fortress Maximus's original number on the Takara toy line. So as as I mentioned earlier, they've got all 10 figures there, basically all individually when we open it up in their own individual compartments. If we take a look at the back of the box, you see, much like most G1 artwork on the back of boxes, it's got a nice, fantastic fight scene in outer space. This is obviously CGI art on the back, as well as it's also on the front. This shows Black Zarak versus Grand Maximus, and then all the various Headmasters that are going to be in the box. Looking at the top of the box, like so, it's got all 10 masters in their alt/robot modes. You'll notice though that these are all humanoid figures, whereas these three here are in animal mode. This because Japan got 3 exclusive Headmasters that were beasts. Looking at the bottom of the box, you can see 10 different head sculpts. These match the prior robots in the same order, but now this is what they look like in their head forms. And one thing you'll notice is the 3 Japanese exclusives sort of have a different head shape than the common squared off releases that were outside of Japan. Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to crack this guy open like so, open up the side, and let's take a look at what these figures look like outside of this packaging. Okay, now that we got these guys removed out of their packaging, you can see that they come in a nice, clear, protective clamshell, and it's just as simple as removing the lid. And now we can actually see how nice the colors are instead of looking at them from underneath a layer of plastic. So as stated before, this is actually the first time I've ever opened this set. First time I've actually even touched these particular figures, G1 or KO versions like this. We're going to take a look at each individually, and we will take it from there. We'll show you how they are in this mode as well as in their Headmaster mode. Okay, so the first figure we're going to look at is Lione. This is Autobot Master Warrior from 1987, available exclusively in Japan as a tiny individual box. He transforms from an orange and dark yellow robotic lion into a humanoid head, which can connect to any of the larger Headmaster toys. And then when connected, this activates their built-in tech spec meter. So Lione would grant his host body a speed rating of 8, a strength of 8, and intelligence of 10. There's also, if you really want to spend a lot of money, there's a super rare, entirely white version of the figures, especially of this guy, which were only available as part of the Throttlebot promotional sales campaign, where a bagged all-white Headmaster was given away with the purchase of any Throttlebot at select Japanese retailers. Okay, so as you can see here, he is a lion. And the whole gimmick is they're in their beast mode, and then when they want to combine with their Transtector robotic body, that, like I said, grants them a boost rating of speed, strength, and intelligence. And to do so, we have to take it from robot, or beast mode, I guess, to head mode. So to do so, and you can see they all have a little portion of the head there. You flip down the head of the lion, tail comes up, the back part folds up like so. Nope, like this. And like so. And then the front legs come down, thus giving you the robotic head, which by this little plug-in joint here pops into the top of the body and giving you the Headmaster head. This sort of has like an Asian look to it, which I like, though the side parts here sort of remind me of like an Egyptian style appearance. But that's Lione, and yeah, he's pretty cool. I like it. All right, we'll move on to the next guy. Okay, so next up is Toraizer, also known as Trizer. And this guy, as you can see, he's basically a purple and dark blue robotic tiger. Again, much like the previous one, connects to larger Headmaster. He grants his host body a speed rating of 10, strength of 7, and intelligence of 7. And again, there's also a white version of this. I guess if you're sort of into cassettes as well, you might like these guys. There is a little bit of movement in terms of tail, a little bit of minor head articulation. The legs do move, but not that it really does much purpose aside from sort of just having them sit there. This guy here, I do like the coloring on it. I think it's very nice. And again, you can see the head sculpt on the bottom. And it's just a matter of, once again, it's very stiff. Like I said, I haven't transformed these guys before. That's got to come up. So, and then the legs come down. And then there you can see the peg, which would go in. And there is the head sculpt. So he has definitely a more, I guess, standard head sculpt where it's more of a boxy square shape. But again, I like the visor for the eyes, the detail for the mouth there and the nose and chin. Let's say that's another good figurehead. All right, let's move on to the next guy. Okay, next guy on the plate. This is called Shuffler. He's a dark purple and off-gray robotic elephant. He offers his host body a speed rating of 4, a strength of 10, and intelligence of 8. So not much on the run, but if you're looking for a guy with power, he's definitely your go-to guy. You can see a bit of the head on the bottom there. The only articulation really is slight movement of the tusk and snout. But overall, nice coloring. I think so far they've all been home runs in terms of color matching. Transformation is, this guy's a little bit tight. You fold the back legs up. Actually, you gotta pop them out there to get the little head nub. His legs fold up. Here's his face. These guys fold up. This goes like this. And then the back legs. And then you, if you want, whatever, I don't care. Fold the legs down. And there he is in head mode. So far, I think all three of them are home runs. Okay, next guy on the plate. This is Kirk. A little bit of backstory, I guess. When Scorponok's Decepticons returned to Planet Master, Kirk served as the leader of the resistance group that formed to oust them. He is obviously a gray and red humanoid. Got some backing on him there. When he connects to his Headmaster toy, he grants a speed rating of 8, a strength of 10, and an intelligence of 6. So you'll see he's the first humanoid that we have. You know, there's obviously leg movement, and arm does come up, and it's quite stiff. Snaps right back in. You see he's got a little Headmaster head right there. Nice detail. And basically, you can't see his robot head because it's on the back. Very simple transformation for this guy. It's a matter of flipping this down, revealing the head sculpt, and then literally you just jack his legs around like so. And there we go. Yeah, can't imagine doing that in real life, but again, more of a traditional head sculpt with this guy. Nice detailing as well. And this was actually one of 3 traditional Headmasters that actually never was released outside of Japan. So his strongest point, I think, is probably in his head mode. I like the gimmick of it being able to cover up. All right, moving on. Say hello to Loafer, everybody. He is a maroon and dark blue figure, as you can tell. A little bit back heavy here because of the head. That's why you see him leaning on that. I couldn't get him to stand up otherwise. So he's got, well, this one suffers from a little bit of back posture here. Nevertheless, though, I think he looks good in robot mode. Get a close up on his head there. I like the coloring. Something about him where he's got like these two-pronged hands sort of makes him seem very alienish, not as much humanoid. Again, head sculpt is covered on the back. Transformation is just as simple as flipping that over, where his face is revealed, and then just boop, boop. This guy's not as tight as the other guy. And there is Loafer. Very, again, Japanese style head, where it's more of a, just seems very samurai-ish. I wish there was a little bit more detail in terms of distinguishing the face. You can see there, it's hard to get a good picture of it. But, you know, again, very traditional for the Japanese style. So in that case, and this guy does not want to stand up. There you go. So in that sense, he fits right in. Okay, everyone, say hello to Lodoni, or Lodoni. I'm not sure which is the proper way to pronounce it. I couldn't find any stat information on this guy for some reason, so we're just going to take a look at the figure himself. You can see he's a nice bright yellow slash dark purple. I like the separation with the legs there and the stockiness of them, like so. Just makes it seem, and gives him a very menacing, robotic look to it. You see on the back here, he does have the head sculpt, which is covered by that. Though with mine, I don't know if it's just because this is tight still. It's a little springy, so it doesn't want to stay perfectly flush. You can go with it up, and it gives him a bit of a pronged effect on the top. I'm okay with that. Again, transformation is, that was down, up, reveal the face, and fold the legs up. And again, we're given another samurai-ish, very looking face sculpt, which I think works nicely. This guy's one of my favorites so far. I think I really, just something about the bright, vibrant colors of the purple and the yellow. I've always been a fan of that, and just really pops nicely. Okay, so we're down to the final four, and I'm going to show them in groups of two because they sort of are technically the same thing, though they apply to different figures. And these last four are probably, if you need a good enough reason to buy this set, these last four are probably a good reason for it, because they are quite expensive to get the original G1 versions of it. And another special feature is that these guys also come from the largest Transformer toys ever made. These first two, we have Grand Maximus Spike and Fortress Maximus Spike. So obviously Grand Max and Fort Max are just redecos of each other, and Spike being their headmaster for that. You can see they're pretty much identical. I would say they are identical, obviously, just minus their color variations. And for me, there's no cover for the back here. But for me, when I think of Headmasters, these are the two guys that immediately come to my mind. Mainly for their head sculpts. Again, transformation. Super straightforward again. These guys are tight. But when I think of Headmaster sculpts, this is what I think of. These two guys right here, the standard Headmaster sculpts for Grand Maximus and Fortress Maximus. And again, all these guys are interchangeable. That was the beauty of the Headmaster gimmick, where certain heads, depending on their powers, when plugged into different bodies, gave different powers, and you know, these guys could be interchangeable. You could put this guy on other head skull or other bodies as well. But when I think of Headmasters, it's these two guys here, Grand Max Spike and Fort Max Spike. So let's put these two right here, if they can stand up. And let's move on to our final two. Okay, and finally, our last two figures. We have Black Zarak, this guy here, and this is Lord Zarak on the right. Again, another two figures that would be a good reason to pick this set up for, especially with Black Zarak here. You can see there's gold plastic on it with the original G1s, especially with Scorponok and Black Zarak. There's something called gold plastic syndrome, where the material that they used for the plastic became so brittle after the years that literally, if you've never even touched it before and took it out of the box for the first time, it could literally just crumble in your hands. So if you're looking for a good replacement, or for the fact that you didn't even want to touch the original that you might still have, this is a good version to pick up. Again, this guy's really white here. Same figures, just different color molds. I have to say though, this guy is another one of my favorites. Just the black and gold, you can't go wrong. And again, transformation is the same, but very menacing Decepticon looking heads there. I'm not a big fan of this creamy off-white. It doesn't do much for me. Aside from that, these are all solid. Another solid additions to this set. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, I think if you're a fan of cassettes, the Headmasters, as these little figures here, are something you might be interested in as well. I've touched, this being a KO set, I've touched lots of KO figures, and I know cheap plastic when I feel it, and these guys here do not feel like cheap plastic. These guys are solid. All the joints are tight. Nice detailing on everything. You know, even with the minute paint jobs that they do on these guys. It's you know, for the most part, really well done. I'm not seeing, you know, sort of slop. Oops. I'm not seeing like a lot of sloppiness at all. Nice clean lines. Nothing is really loose on these guys. And I'm not sure what the set goes for now. It might be going for around 150, 200 bucks, but I haven't looked for a while. I think I paid 50 when I purchased it. But again, that was back in like in 2011, 2012, roughly around that area. So again, appreciate you guys checking this video out. Give this set a look if you want. It's the Transformers Headmasters KO gift set. And if you can find it, I'd highly recommend picking it up. Please leave me a comment on what you guys think about these figures. And as I said, comment, subscribe, and share the channel. Appreciate everyone's support, and we'll see you again real soon.